In a world that often equates a woman's worth with her relational status, her role as a partner, mother, or friend, the act of choosing solitude is frequently misread. It's seen through a lens of lack, a silent broadcast of being unwanted or incomplete. We are conditioned to interpret an empty calendar as a sign of loneliness, and a woman who spends her evenings alone as someone yearning for company. But what if this perception is fundamentally flawed? What if, according to Owen Hermstring's revolutionary perspective, the woman who deliberately chooses solitude is actually engaging in one of the most powerful and often misunderstood acts of energetic creation? This topic will shatter the myth that solitude for a woman is a frequency of loneliness and reveal it as a deliberate, self-affirming broadcast. Hermstring would argue that the conventional view of a woman in solitude, a silent, sad signal, is a projection of societal expectations, not a reflection of her true energetic state. He challenges us to listen more closely to the signal she is actually transmitting. When a woman consciously unplugs from the endless cacophony of social demands, validation-seeking and relational noise, she is not broadcasting a void. She is broadcasting a declaration. She is sending out a clear, potent signal of self-sufficiency, inner completion, and a radical independence from external validation. As Hermstring writes, the woman in chosen solitude ceases to be a satellite dish seeking a signal and becomes a transmission tower generating her own. Her signal is not "I am alone," but "I am whole." This is a critical distinction. The universe, in its role as a perfect receiver, does not hear a desperate plea for connection. It hears a resonant signal of wholeness, and therefore it reflects back experiences and opportunities that align with that wholeness. This is an act of energetic sovereignty, a deliberate choice to silence the frequencies of external pressure and tune into the powerful, authentic hum of her own being. She is no longer defining her reality by who is in her life, but by the strength and clarity of her own inner world. This broadcast is a bold and subversive statement in a culture that often programs women to believe their value is determined by their ability to nurture others. By choosing to withdraw, she is reclaiming her time, her energy, and her mind, dedicating them to the cultivation of her own unique frequency. This isn't a passive retreat from the world. It's an active, vibrant process of self-creation. The solitude becomes a crucible for introspection and emotional honesty, allowing her to filter out the noise and clarify her authentic signal. It requires immense courage to defy the ingrained social scripts and embrace a path that can be easily misunderstood. Yet, in Hermstring's view, this is precisely what makes her broadcast so powerful. It is not a whisper, but a resonant, unwavering declaration of her autonomy. It's a signal that says, "My worth is non-negotiable, and I am my own source of power and fulfillment." The universe, in turn, has no choice but to reflect a reality that mirrors this self-contained, powerful frequency. If a woman's chosen solitude is a declaration of sovereignty, her silence is its most powerful tool. In our modern world, we are constantly bathed in a cacophony of noise. Social media feeds, notifications, the demands of work and family, unsolicited opinions, and the persistent hum of external expectations. For women, this external noise is often amplified by a subtle yet pervasive societal pressure to be available, accommodating, and outwardly engaged. It is a constant stream of interference that pollutes the clarity of one's own internal broadcast. Owen Hermstring posits that this relentless external chatter acts as a dense static, preventing a person's authentic frequency from ever being heard, even by themselves. The act of choosing solitude, then, is not merely about finding peace. It is a radical, subversive act of turning off the world's volume to finally hear your own signal. The silence of solitude serves as an energetic amplifier. When the external noise is muted, the subtle frequencies of intuition, creativity, and inner knowing, which were previously drowned out, can finally resonate with a deafening clarity. For a woman who is often conditioned to filter her thoughts through the lens of other people's needs and desires, this process is profoundly liberating. It is in the stillness that she can distinguish the whispers of her own soul from the loud demands of her conditioning. As Hermstring writes, "The world broadcasts 1,000 frequencies of who you should be. True power is found in the silence, where you can finally hear the one broadcast of who you are." This is not just a poetic idea, it's a practical mechanism for self-correction. In this state of unadulterated presence, a woman can pinpoint the source of her subconscious fears and desires, the very signals that have been overriding her conscious intentions. The quiet allows her to identify the discordant frequencies of past trauma, people-pleasing tendencies, or limiting beliefs, and begin to actively transmute them. This silence is subversive because it defies the very architecture of our hyper-connected, validation-driven society. It is an act of rebellion against the constant demand for attention and engagement. A woman in solitude is not passively waiting to be seen. She is actively engaging in the deepest form of self-observation and self-dialogue. She is giving herself the space to hear what her body truly needs, what her heart truly desires, and what her intuition is trying to communicate, free from the judgments and filters of others. This is the training ground for mastering her broadcast. It's where she hones her signal, purifies her frequency, and learns to trust the resonant hum of her own inner guidance. The solitude is not a destination of loneliness. It is a powerful practice of calibration, ensuring that the signal she transmits to the universe is her own, clear and true. This is the essential first step in reclaiming her energetic power and becoming the master of her own reality. Every woman from birth is subtly handed a script, a pre-written narrative designed by society. This script dictates her role: a supportive partner, a nurturing mother, a loyal friend, a valuable social asset. It's a powerful, ingrained broadcast that tells her her worth is often measured by her ability to connect and conform to external relational structures. This script becomes her default broadcast frequency, one that can make her feel incomplete or unfulfilled unless she is actively playing her assigned part. But what happens when she tears up the script? According to Owen Hermstring, the woman who chooses solitude is a radical author, rewriting her own story in real time, broadcasting a powerful, defiant signal of autonomy and self-creation. This is not a passive retreat from the world, it is an active, energetic declaration. She is no longer waiting for a relationship to define her, a social invitation to validate her, or a title to give her purpose. Instead, she is broadcasting a frequency that says, "My life is my own masterpiece, not a supporting role in someone else's." This is a profoundly subversive act because it challenges the very core of ingrained expectations. Consider the woman who travels solo, not because she has no one to go with, but because she chooses the unadulterated experience of her own journey. Or the woman who spends her evenings working on a passion project, her creativity fueled by uninterrupted focus rather than attending social gatherings. These are not acts of loneliness. They are powerful, tangible broadcasts of self-determination. They are active signals of her capacity to fill her own life with meaning, adventure, and purpose. As Hermstring might put it, societal expectations are nothing but a broadcast. The woman who chooses solitude is a rogue signal, writing her own destiny on a frequency that cannot be hijacked. The energetic consequence of this is immense. When her broadcast shifts from seeking to be a part of something to being the whole of something, the universe, in its mirroring function, responds with opportunities that honor her independence. It might not send her a partner, but it will send her career breakthroughs, creative inspiration, and profound personal growth experiences that a life of constant external engagement would never allow. This path is not without its challenges. It requires immense courage to face the judgment and misunderstanding of a society that doesn't understand her signal. The well-meaning questions: why are you still single? Don't you get lonely? are themselves broadcasts of the old script, trying to pull her back to the familiar frequency of dependency. But with every choice to honor her solitude, her broadcast of autonomy grows stronger, more resilient. She learns to trust her own frequency, making her a more powerful broadcaster than ever before. This reclamation of her own narrative is the foundation of a life built on authenticity, not on the fulfilling of someone else's expectations. Solitude, particularly for a woman who has chosen it, is not always a peaceful sanctuary. It can be a crucible, a demanding, challenging space where the raw materials of external pressure and internal resistance are brought to a boil. The judgment from family, the subtle pity from friends, the pervasive cultural message that she shouldn't be alone, all of these are powerful external frequencies bombarding her. But Hermstring's view suggests that this pressure is not a force to be avoided, but a fuel to be used. The Alchemy of Alone Time is a profound process of transmuting these external forces into an unshakable inner strength, forging a new, resilient frequency that is more powerful than any external signal. In the book, Hermstring writes, "The strength of your signal is measured not by its volume, but by the pressure it withstands." True frequency is forged in the fire of defiance. The solitary woman, by facing the discomfort of her own company and the weight of societal expectations without external distraction, is engaged in a deep, energetic work. She is forced to confront the source of her anxieties. Is it the fear of being lonely, or is it the fear of being judged for being alone? Is it a genuine desire for companionship, or is it a conditioned need for validation? In the crucible of solitude, she metabolizes these questions. She sits with the uncomfortable feelings, feels the guilt and the fear, and instead of running from them by seeking distraction or company, she processes them. This is where the alchemy occurs. The energy of resistance and judgment, instead of weakening her, is converted into a denser, more powerful core of resilience. Consider the woman who dedicates her solitary time to a demanding creative project. She faces self-doubt, lack of inspiration, and the temptation to seek external validation by sharing her progress too early. In her aloneness, she has no one to give her a pat on the back. She must generate her own motivation, her own discipline, and her own belief. With each challenge she overcomes, the frequency of her self-trust grows exponentially. She is not just creating a piece of art, she is forging a deep inner fortitude. This transmutation is what gives her broadcast its authentic power. The hidden frequency she begins to emit is not just one of autonomy, but one of profound inner fortitude, a quiet, powerful signal that says, "I am my own rock. My strength is not dependent on external support." The world in turn reflects this back, sending her opportunities and challenges that test and affirm her newfound strength. She becomes a magnet for experiences that demand her resilience, her focus, and her unwavering self-reliance. This is the ultimate gift of solitude, the creation of a self-contained power source that can never be depleted by external forces. After a woman has navigated the challenges of solitude, silenced the external noise, reclaimed her narrative, and forged inner strength from pressure, what is the ultimate payoff? Hermstring argues that this entire process is a preparatory phase for a more profound connection. The ultimate purpose of chosen solitude is not just to master your own frequency, but to tune into a deeper, more powerful signal, the universal broadcast that flows through all of existence. The ego and its desires are like static on a radio, constantly broadcasting personal wants and fears. In the stillness of solitude, when this static is quieted, the subtle frequency of universal wisdom, intuition, and inspiration can finally be received. Hermstring's philosophy posits that our consciousness is a channel. The everyday chaos of life clogs this channel with noise, but the disciplined practice of solitude acts as a purifier, clearing the channel for a clearer transmission. This is where the magic, in a scientific sense, truly happens. The woman in solitude is no longer just broadcasting her own will, she is a conduit for a higher intelligence. This is the source of the profound creative insights that seem to come from nowhere, the moments of perfect clarity in a time of confusion, and the deep sense of peace that transcends circumstance. It is the ego surrendering its need to control the broadcast, allowing a higher frequency to flow through. As Hermstring writes, the final broadcast is not from the self, but from the universe, through the self. Your solitude is the sacred channel for this transmission. She is no longer just a transmitter, she is a receiver for cosmic wisdom. Consider the solitary woman who spends hours in quiet contemplation. She's not just thinking, she's actively filtering out the personal noise to receive a signal from the universal field. This is how artists receive inspiration for masterpieces, scientists get breakthroughs, and innovators have world-changing ideas. These are not creations of personal will. They are downloads from a universal broadcast that becomes accessible only in a state of profound stillness. The frequency she now emits is one of deep resonance and authentic presence. It is a signal of someone who is deeply connected, not to a social network, but to the source code of reality itself. This is the highest form of empowerment, a woman who is not just building her own world, but is in constant, vibrant communion with the universe that she is a part of. The journey through solitude, from loneliness to sovereignty, culminates in this transcendent connection, proving that the most powerful signal is found not in the crowd, but in the profound silence of the self. If Owen Hermstring's vision has challenged you to rethink solitude and purpose, you've found your community. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into these transformative ideas. Leave a comment below with your biggest takeaway from this journey, and let's keep this powerful conversation going. Together, we'll master our broadcasts and reclaim our sovereignty.